This Jamal Hustle Sports and Entertainment. Let's talk about this Gucci situation about the so-called, the racist advert and people's chastising Jim Jones and Floyd Mayweather for supporting Gucci. First of all, what you do with your money, that's your business. Second of all, take note of her son Campbell. My son said something about it too. Her son Campbell's trying to wrench down on Jim Jones. Mike Son's doing a good thing with the marching and trying to organize people and bring together things for his community, to take his community forward. I agree with all that. But at the same time, like, for you and Hassan Campbell to chastise Jim Jones or anybody that's still supporting Gucci, it's a slap in the face. And the reason why I say it's a slap in the face is because whenever some whenever a white man, quote unquote white man, does something, we turn it into a black and white issue. And a lot of people that are so-called black leaders in today's modern society, they use the race card to stir up hatred and advance their agenda. They're not using it to enlighten and educate people and move more black people forward. Now, I'm not saying this is not I'm not saying this is what my son is doing, but usually, like, when people like a son Campbell, when they're talking hard, they're talking about slave master and all that. They're pushing an agenda of hate, right? And they're not really enlightening and moving the other black people forward, right? So, people, you gotta be more aware of some of these tactics these guys are using, because at the end of the day, they may say they're your leader, but if you need food on your table, they're not going to put food on your table. How many of these guys are patronizing Jim Jones's music? How many of these guys are saying, yeah, I'm supporting Mayweather's promotions. I'm supporting Mayweather. You guys are not responsible for the majority of Jim Jones's record sales, if you brought his album at all. How many of you are supporting Jim Jones's brand? How many of you are supporting Floyd Mayweather's brand? But yet you want to call these guys sellouts for using their own mind. What you do with your money is your business. And I see this rampant with the black community, especially down here in Bermuda. You say one thing and you do another. Any black man that seems to be successful and doesn't share the income, the money with you, or share the spotlight with you, the castigated, the demonized, and it's out of jealousy and hate out of the black community. Okay? You forget what happened to the great Nipsey. A black person took him out. It wasn't no white man. So you guys gotta cut the propaganda out, man. The false narrative you're putting out there. Why are you attacking these guys for supporting Gucci? But when a black man kills a black man, it's not an uproar like that. But you use, when a white person does something, or a white business establishment, you use that as a stepping stone to try and create this hate, this racial hatred. And I could see beneath that, man. Because I see it myself in this country, in Bermuda, with the black people that do that. So anybody that's doing it, trying to mislead people to advance the agenda, trying to stir up hate, I'm stamping it out. Because at the end of the day, you don't earn no business. How many businesses you earn? How many clothing lines do you earn? How many? You can't tell me that. You can't answer me that now, innit? How many black businesses do you support? Are you building up your community? Because anybody can march and talk. And I'm not taking away credit from my son, because you're doing a great thing. I like your music, my son. Okay? You're a lyricist. Your music is on point. You educate people with your music. You're deep, you're intellectual thinker. I like how you organize all the gangs to come together. I like that. But at the same time, like, you're attacking Jim Jones and Mayweather for supporting Gucci. Suppose people say, you know what, I'm not supporting the son Campbell or my son for attacking Jim Jones. Suppose we say that. Because yes, you guys are sharing some hatred towards these guys. And one thing, like, you gotta understand, like, a lot of times when you guys talk about the slavery and all that, you added out certain parts, like how the black soul slaves. You added out them parts. Or you don't talk about how the blacks killed black people. But you guys, sometimes people that are in this, underneath the umbrella of racial hatred, you try to push that narrative, white against black. And it's not about that. It's about character. Because anybody could do wrong. And I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. It does exist. You got black people that are racist and white. Quote unquote white and quote unquote black people that are doing it. But at the end of the day, it's not about color, it's about character and your deeds. And racism is an issue that needs to be tackled. But a lot of the people that's at the forefront, that's pushing this agenda, they're not doing it for a solution. You're doing it to propel yourself and launch yourself forward. And there's nothing wrong with moving forward. But the way you use race, you're using it as a tool. Why all of a sudden you want to, so now you want to boycott Gucci. Now you want to castigate Jones and Floyd Mayweather for supporting Gucci because Gucci made a racist advert. But all this time you're supporting them. So you mean to tell me your sole reason for not wanting to support them is because of racial comments? But all this time you guys are cool with these guys supporting them. You was cool with supporting them yourself. And even if you wasn't supporting them directly, you didn't have no beef with Gucci. So stop being hypocrites, right? And furthermore, what businesses are you putting in the black community? Are you building up the infrastructure of the black community? How many people you're employing in the black community? How many of these black businesses you're supporting? Are you supporting JimJones? His music, his wave, his clothing lines? Are you supporting maybe other promotions in any way, shape, or form? You're not even responsible for the man's riches. He is. Be honest. Do you think the bulk of black people's buying JimJones' music? Huh? When you go to Mayweather promotions, who's buying up their front row seats to a Mayweather boxing fight? Not you. How many of you guys are doing this? Right? There's a lot of hate and anger. And I have to call out some of these guys that bring forth this race thing because you're living a life, you're living a false narrative. It's a facade. I can see the tactics you use, and that can't work. I'm Bender, following blindly like a sheep. I go off your actions, not what you say. You're castigating these men. But how many white establishments you support? Huh? How many black establishments you support? How many business partners do you have? How many black, quote unquote, since you're so pro-black, how many black business partners do you have? How many black families are you feeding? How many black families are you putting a roof over their head? How many black families are you going to visit in the prison system? How many black moms have lost kids to black on black violence? How many of them are you supporting morally, economically, socially, mentally? Zero. But you want to chastise JimJones and Floyd Mayweather for supporting Gucci? They could do whatever they want with their money. And when a black person does something, you lot of don't do the same thing. But when it's white, you want to use the opportunity to make it a race thing to advance your agenda. Cut it out. Be honest with yourself. Stop cheating the people that's following you. Stop lying and cheating the people that's following you. This is Jamal Hassel Sports and Entertainment. Feel free to curse me out. I wouldn't take it personal.